My third date admitted she spoiled a kid's card trick years ago, and that kid was sitting there. My Tinder date turned out to be my childhood nemesis. When I was 11, my grandpa taught me one card trick, the ambitious card. 2 weeks later, he died of a heart attack, and that deck was the last thing that still felt like him. He made me promise I'd do the trick at my school talent show, so I practiced for months. The morning of the show at Roosevelt Elementary, I was backstage, running the moves again and again. A girl I barely knew walked up with curly red hair and piano sheet music. She asked what I was doing, and I showed her the whole trick, step by step. She watched close, asked questions, and smiled like she was impressed. Then my name was called, and I walked on stage with my grandpa's cards. The auditorium was packed. I started the routine, and everything felt fine for the first minute. Then the same girl stood up in the third row and shouted the method. She called out where the card was and what my fingers were doing. The room went quiet, and then the laughing hit. The judges looked awkward, and one of them cut me off with, "Okay, thank you." I froze with the cards in my hands, then ran off stage. I locked myself in the bathroom and cried on the floor until my stomach hurt. My mom found me and kept asking what happened, but I couldn't say it. That night, I shoved the deck in a shoebox under my bed and never touched it again, not once. 15 years later, I matched with a girl on Tinder, and we clicked fast. She was a graphic designer, funny, and easy to talk to, and by our third date, I actually liked her. We were at an Italian place called Marino's when she got quiet and said, "I need to tell you something I'm not proud of." She kept twisting her napkin like she was trying to rip it. The waiter came by and asked if we wanted dessert, and she just shook her head. I could feel my palms sweating on the glass. She said she'd been working on Old Guild. Then she said it. "When I was in 6th grade, I ruined a kid's magic act at a talent show." My chest tightened. She said it was Roosevelt Elementary in 2009. She said she was supposed to play piano, but got cut from the show because there were too many acts. She was sitting there angry and embarrassed, watching this boy do a card trick, and she snapped. She stood up and exposed the whole trick because she wanted someone else to feel small too. Her voice started shaking. She said she's carried it for 15 years and still thinks about that boy. She said she wishes she could find him and apologize because it was cruel. I sat there staring at her like the room had tilted. I asked what the kid looked like. "Dark hair," she said, "and I think a blue shirt." I asked if she remembered his name, and she said no. I asked what kind of cards he used. "They looked old," she said, "like vintage." My throat went dry. Those were my dead grandpa's cards. She was truly sorry. I could see it, but all I could see was me at 11, stuck on that stage, holding that deck while everyone laughed. I didn't tell her. I just asked for the check. She looked confused and asked if I was okay. I said I didn't feel well. She offered to split it, but I paid and walked out. She texted that night asking if she'd said something wrong. Then she texted again the next day. I ignored it because I didn't know what to do with all that anger and all that sadness at the same time. A few days later, I pulled the old shoebox from my closet. Dust flew up when I opened it. The deck was still there, worn edges and faded ink. I held it and my hands started shaking like they used to. I tried to shuffle and the moves came back, clumsy but real. That's when I finally typed "it was me" and hit send before I could stop myself. Her reply came fast. "What do you mean?" Then, "Please, can we talk?" I told her to meet me the next day in the little park near Marino's. She was already there when I arrived, pacing by a bench. I sat down and set the shoebox between us. "Roosevelt, 2009, I said. "That boy with the cards was me." Her face drained and she covered her mouth. "No," she whispered, and then she started crying. "I'm so sorry," she said over and over. I told her about my grandpa, the promise, the bathroom floor, and the box under my bed. I told her I never did magic again after that day. She looked at the deck like it was fragile. "Do you hate me?" she asked. I took a slow breath. "I did," I said, "for a long time." Then I slid her a pen and said, "Sign a card." Her hand shook as she signed it. I put it back in the deck and did the trick, simple and clean. When her signed card rose to the top again, she let out a small gasp. I held the deck out and said, "I accept your apology." Then I stood up, picked up the shoebox, and added, "But I can't date you after this." She reached for my sleeve, but I stepped